So then things got really spicy. So I wanted to play this clip. I figured this was like one of my favorite. I figured this would be a good one to pull up because I can't think of a room of stupider women than The View. And so how good of a so this will give us
to their. I mean, like, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because they have some interesting people on their show. Didn't they have Pamela Anderson?
They did, yes.
They've had Tulsi. They've had Bernie. They've had lots of people who like. They probably wouldn't normally have on.
But again, it's because they're a mainstream like organization. And again, you'll see they parrot the lines of the fucking mainstream because they are just that. So I want to play this clip because they play the actual recording that Hillary did. So it's important.
During a podcast interview where she gave this ominous forecast about the 2020 presidential election. Take a listen.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of, sites and bots and... Okay,
I want to stop that there. This idea of bots and, like, what the fucking show them to me. Like, what the fuck? Are you even talking about, that MSDNC, that parody account?
Yes.
They checked her account. 40% of her followers are fake.
I know. Okay, I can show you in any reply to a political tweet, all of the bots in support of Hillary or in support of Kamala or in support of Beto.
I'm so sick of this fucking Russian red baiting because it's like, if you're going to make extraordinary claims, you need extraordinary evidence, and you stupid cunt, you have none. You have none. And it's like, and Hillary has blamed every single thing for her loss except for herself. Her narcissism is so goddamn huge. Yeah. She cannot admit that she didn't fucking go to any other state. She didn't tour. Like, Donald Trump literally nonstop toured the fucking country and like talked to people and like had these massive rallies. And she just was so confident that she would win. She didn't do anything. She didn't talk to anybody. She just rests on her neoliberal like laurels. She had the media working for her. She had everything working for her. She was up against the host of The Apprentice, and she still fucking lost. Like,
all right, Jordan.
No, but it's this upsetting because like it's the fucking hubris of this fucking lady, and it's like, anyway, we'll let it.
Jeez, I already pumped the poison out of you. It's like
right, but I think that what was so frustrating about this was that like how many people need to wake up to the fact that like this woman is a cancer on our party that we want to win, and like she needs, and I think that Tulsi like she did the best possible thing that ever could have happened to the Democratic Party of making her look fucking ridiculous. So anyway, I'll let this continue.
Other ways of supporting her so far, and. That's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset.
Oh, what the fuck,
dude?
A
fucking pediatrician, like, Jill Stein. Give me a fucking break.
So most people say she's clearly talking about candidate Tulsi Gabbard, and some other candidates are defending Tulsi getting called out like this. So what did you think when you heard that?
I mean, for me, honestly, Hillary's been dead on with so many things. She told us about Russia. She told us about the probable interference during the debate. She was Secretary of State. She has deep knowledge about world issues.
If we hadn't interfered in Russia's elections, Putin would never be president. And so, again, it's a kind of thing of like, okay, so you want to say that Russia interfered with our election? What exactly did they do? I mean, do you know? Because like that's what I was racking my brain when I was listening to this whole thing of like, what did Russia? Like, can you tell me what Russia actually did?
Well, the real thing was like indirect influence. Well, it was like Facebook groups and like Instagram.
Sure, right. Yeah. But so much of like they have the documentary about Cambridge Analytica, which is like one of the biggest things that and basically what Cambridge Analytica did, which wasn't a Russian thing, they exploited Facebook's data, which they just had like totally open-ended, which was by like adding an app, which would then scan all of the person's interests and then put everyone into groups. You had people who were going to vote for Trump, people who were going to vote for Hillary, and in the middle. And so they would target ads for Trump at the people in the middle, and it fucking worked. Yeah. And so like, it doesn't have anything to do with Russia. It's about how Facebook was so easily exploited by anybody. And so, but they still want to claim that the DNC leak was because of Russia, or that their servers were hacked. And it's such bullshit in the sense of like Bill Binney, the guy, again, who's another whistleblower for the NSA, said that the time in which the data was transferred, it had to have gone to a thumb drive. There is no possible way that it could have been taken remotely from Russia. It's absolutely impossible.
Right.
So they're just like, she's either lying or she's stupid, which I think it's the latter. But again, it's like, you guys, you keep saying Russia. Tell me exactly what Russia did. So like that one, okay, like I'll go with that. Like I knew I believe, even though Renee DiResta from New Knowledge has been completely discredited, but like completely. I mean, like
Jeez.
like as like, and they do you know that they got caught creating bots themselves in order to like pump up their own program? Jeez. Like they are but they're the one that always gets cited. New Knowledge gets cited as the one that like found all the Russian bots, but they're completely. So I don't even believe that narrative anymore because they're such liars. And so it's like, They needed a convenient narrative as to why they won, and because they'll never have to admit that Hillary was a terrible fucking candidate. And so we don't even watch this anymore. But I mean, like Hillary's such a terrible person that even God tried to kill her and unfortunately failed.
Whew, okay, sorry, that was getting very unfun for me.
Right. So here we go.
She's alleging a 12-year affair.
That's weird.
Why can't we hear this?
I can only hear it in my left ear.
Oh, okay. That's why I can't hear it. It's all right. I think it's just maybe fucked up. But
She's alleging the 12-year affair.
So even Hillary couldn't do it.
That allegation is false.
You know, I'm not sitting here as some little woman standing by my man like Tammy Wynette. I'm
Oh,
sitting
she looks
here because I love him.
What year is this?
It would be
the 90s?
It would be late 90s.
You know, an average person.
She looks it. Oh, fuck.
So can you explain just what happened?
Mary and Joseph. So they're doing this interview at 60 Minutes, and a set light comes crashing down right behind them.
And almost lands right on her head. And so God was this close.
Mary
this
and
close.
Joseph.
And Noni says Clinton has been dead on about so many things. How about Libya? Yeah, like literally every regime change that has created a vacuum in the Middle East has been because of Hillary Clinton's and her proxies and her surrogates, all of their terrible foreign policy decisions. So, anyway, so now we go to Tulsi's response.
This is Tulsi's response to that clip from the podcast we just listened to.
We should say before, too, so there were so many snarky analysts coming out after that thing that Hillary claimed out.
Even though she didn't explicitly name her.
But they went, all media outlets went and talked to her campaign advisor, who said, well, if the nesting doll fits.
Yeah. Did you see that same manager decided to, like, back off on what Hillary had said? So instead of Hillary saying,
when the tide started to turn on her.
Yeah, exactly. So when actually I think yesterday or the day before, what's his name, Tyler something?
Yeah, I can't remember the last name.
It starts with an N, or something like that. But he tweeted the other day and he was like, wow, funny how like people take things out of context, or people like don't actually listen to the podcast or the interview that she was doing, and they mishear Russians for Republicans instead, when really what she said was Republicans. And we just listened to it, and obviously she said Russians.
Right.
It's like, that is a very serious allegation. If she had said the Republicans are grooming her, very different. But Russians,
and
come on, dude.
The only caveat that she could have saved herself very easily in that statement, and it would have been that like. Bringing up Russia is so ridiculous at this point, but it's so deep in her brain because she just doesn't want to admit any loss, and her ego is so huge, or any flaws rather. But like all she would have had to have said is that is this idea that they want to divide up the different, perhaps a third party. I said this to you the other day that she could have saved that statement pretty easily by saying that like. Anybody who'd want to interfere in our election, like this kind of groundswell or whatever, but like for her to call her a Russian asset, those words, as if she's some kind of sleeper cell who's actively serving as a captain in the Army National Guard, like that is like treason.
Yeah,
she is
fucking disrespectful.
It's unfucking believable, and a woman who went and fought in the wars that you were the architect of.
Yeah, you
fucking sociopath. And so Tulsi just fucking... Oh, and then Kyle Dawson says, what the fuck was up with that humble me accent? And it's the same voice that that Kamala Harris does when she fucking blacks it up at the end when she's trying to, like, pretend to... They all do this, like, this acting thing, and Elizabeth Warren gets more oaky when it's convenient to her. They just... None of them are real people, except for, I think, Bernie's a real person, Tulsi, and Marianne Williamson, and Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the four.
Those are the four.
And those are the four that defended Tulsi.
Yeah, they sure are. I think there was one other person. Oh wait, you were telling me Beto.
Beto did, yeah, he did. But he's such an unfortunate.
He's in like.
But he didn't do it on Twitter. He did it in an interview.
Yeah.
And so like and I think and in fairness to him, I think that he was probably pretty upset about it because they were junior senators or congresspeople coming up, and so like they're friends, you know, and they're about the same age, and so I think that he was like, they're fucking with my friend, you know, and so he's a basket of bad ideas, but still it was nice to see.
Yeah.
And so Tulsi just totally kicked her cunt in.
Yeah, here's what Tulsi tweeted, and keep in mind this has 300,000 likes. Great, thank you, Hillary Clinton. You, the queen of warmongers, embodiment of corruption, and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for so long, have finally come out from behind the curtain. From the day I announced my candidacy, there has been a concerted campaign to destroy my reputation. We wondered who was behind it and why. Now we know. It was always you, through your proxies and powerful allies in the corporate media and war machine.
That part was so important to me. Like, because again, it's like she oh, go ahead, sorry.
Afraid of the threat I pose. It's now clear that this primary is between you and me. Don't cowardly hide behind your proxies. Join the race directly.
And so, and people, of course, wanted to, they purposefully misconstrued that statement by saying that her ego is so big that she thinks that this race is about her and Hillary Clinton. It's like, no. She just knows that Warren is a Hillary proxy. And so it's like, stop hiding behind these other people. Like, your ego is obviously so big, and you are obviously pulling the strings behind everything, and people still listen to you and take you seriously. If you're going to keep talking like this about me, then join it directly and get humiliated for the second time.
I so want her to join the race.
Man, I'm telling you.
So that she can lose again.
I'm telling you, her ego is so fucking big that she may do it. And
I hope so.
Oh, I fucking hope so too.
Did you see she updated her website to include her policies on things?
No.
This was like yesterday.
No fucking
Hillary
way.
Clinton updated her website. And maybe we can actually go there now. What is it? HillaryClinton.com?
Sure. But there's a few things I want to say. Like, what and Tulsi she did the interviews with the people that would have her. So she did one on MSNBC and Tucker. But Tucker's been so kind to her, like, and so he did this interview with her where, again, he gives the caveat, like, I don't agree with you on so many things, but this is so obvious to me. And I think that what's so great is that, like, both sides need to unify on this fact of, like, Hillary and her establishment, like, the Clinton dynasty is so toxic to American politics, and, like, the Bush dynasty, like, all these like dynastic like, it's a monarchy, and they need to fucking go away. They are, and again, for her to even if Tulsi ran as a third-party candidate, for you to say, like, to use red baiting, red scare tactics as a way to discredit that is not democracy, you asshole. Like, if she wanted to run as a third-party candidate, let her do it. Yeah. Like, don't discourage it and, like, call her a fucking traitor to the country if she decides to do that just because your team may lose. It's absurd. Like, fortunately, Tulsi, like, she's like flustered at this point. She said, I have said so many times I am not going to run as a third-party candidate.
Right.
But yeah, so it's unbelievable. Nianoni says, I don't think that Hillary will run, but if she does, then the deep state has already fixed the election. Yep. There's no way that she'll run without a guaranteed victory.
Right. Well, the thing is, she ran last time with a guaranteed victory and she lost. Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what they could do, but again, it's like there's, like, it was pretty interesting. So, like, part of the WikiLeaks leak that came out was a letter that was written to Tulsi Gabbard after she resigned her DNC chair in solidarity with Bernie, and, like, she was the DNC's golden girl. Like they were really grooming her to be, because, like, she fits all the identity politics lines, even though she doesn't play any of that. She fit all of the notes they wanted. But the second she resigned that chair, she got this letter like, we're so disappointed in you. Like, how could you do this to us? Like, Hillary's obviously going to be the nominee. And it was Tulsi, in her credit, never released that email, but it came out during the WikiLeaks thing, which was information that I am glad that I know. And so it's absolutely astounding that, and then here's one more video from her that we'll play, which is pretty great.
People warned me in 2016 that my endorsement of Bernie Sanders would be the end of my quote-unquote political career. They said Clinton will never forget that she and her rich and powerful friends, her allies in politics and in the media, will make sure that you are destroyed. Well, there have been countless hit pieces full of smears against me from day one of this campaign. They've tried to destroy my reputation and my lifetime of service because I stood up to them. I've spent over 16 years of my life proudly serving in the Army National Guard. I still serve as a major today.
Major, sorry.
I volunteered to deploy to the Middle East twice. I've served in Congress now for nearly 7 years, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, and I am not afraid to openly express my love for our country. But if they can falsely portray me as a traitor, then they can do it to anyone. And in fact, that's exactly the message that they want to get across to you. That if you stand up against Hillary and the party power brokers, if you stand up to the rich and powerful elite and the war machine, they will destroy you and discredit your message. But here is the truth. They will not intimidate us. They will not silence us. We are not here just to protest their corruption. I am running for president to take the Democratic Party and our country back from the corrupt elite. I'm running for president to bring about a new Democratic Party and new leadership that will fight for peace, fight for the people, and protect our planet. So I want to ask every single one of you to join me in speaking truth to power. Don't be afraid. Let's root out the corruption in our party and our country. Join me to end the war machine's stranglehold over our leaders and ensure that our government is truly of the people, by the people, and for the people.
I mean, that's everything.
That's everything. Yeah, Kyle, I didn't like and retweet it. I felt like I was bombarding my followers with just so much Tulsi content that once this came out, I was like, I'll just give it a rest for a little while. But yeah, and then thank God it took. Like I was really annoyed that Bernie. It took him a while, but I don't think Bernie runs any of his social media, and so I think that they were so tied up in that event he did in Brooklyn that he finally came out and said something. But man, if he hadn't said anything, I would have just been
all
like,
respect is gone.
Yeah, fuck you, dude. And so yeah, so it was. I
mean, the great thing is that Tulsi has gotten so much fucking press from this Hillary debacle. And I mean, look at her tweets: 80,000 likes on this video, 20,000 replies. Which, unfortunately, if you go into the replies, it's all fucking Hillary shills.
You go to anybody though, and like
any political person.
And like the person who like thinks they're making a difference by replying to things like this are so ridiculous. Do you mind reading Kyle's last comment?
Yeah. Sorry, it's a little.
You can move it.
The lay Democrat, the white liberal, doesn't give a damn about her military service. Why does she keep harping on that if Democrats don't give a fuck about that line? I'm a Trumplican,
which is fine, and like, but I think that's why she keeps. I think that's why she keeps harping on it, is because like I think that in terms of like the bipartisan nature of not creating vacuums in the Middle East and getting the fuck out of the Middle East is a completely bipartisan line that even people who protest voted for Trump, and I think that a lot of conservatives would see her as.
She's palatable.
And again, like I don't really mind that you want Trump to win. That's perfectly fine with me. It's like if she doesn't make any headway, like it's going to be hard for me to really pull the trigger for anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm not really even concerned with her running for president. I just think that her voice is important to have right now. Of really, Trump's whole thing is about draining the swamp on his side, I guess, which. You can argue that he has done that or he hasn't. I don't really think that he has, but he has done some things that I think are kind of in that vein, but this is her doing it on our side, which is great. But like, I have no problem with Trump voters, and I don't think that she does either. I mean, she made that comment at the end of the debate where she goes, like,
they're not despicable.
No,
is that what she said?
They're not deplorable.
Deplorable, excuse me.
Yeah, and so like that's all I want is just sort of peaceful and also. Again, like kind of Hillary calling her Russian assets, the same thing people do calling every Trump supporter a white supremacist. It's the same fucking shit where you have made these things mean nothing anymore. And so, well, that's great. I'm Tulsi 2020 until she suspends her campaign. Yeah, that's great. But again, like I just think that what she's doing right now is so fucking important, and I think that people like Hillary and that like dynastic type those politicians cannot exist in this anymore, and I'm so fucking tired of it. And to Trump's credit too, what I've enjoyed so much about when he was running was people like Ted Cruz, people like Jeb Bush. He made them look like clowns. and Rick Santorum too. Like all these people that I have been so sick of growing up dealing with, he made them look ridiculous. And he has effectively made an entirely new Republican Party.
Yeah.
Like, and it really, I mean, and has kind of liberalized the Republican Party in really positive ways. In terms of us as gay people, I mean, he hired the first openly gay ambassador. Like, he made gay marriage a non-issue in the Republican Party.
Right.
Which I will defend him for till the end of the time. Like when gay people call him a homophobe, it's like just shut the fuck up. You're wrong.